Hey, this is Joel. Welcome back to the channel. I was just digging out a product from one of our more popular videos of the year. This is the Hypershell Exoskeleton, and if you didn't see this video, it was a lot of fun. We tested this out. Straps around your waist and your legs, provides increased mobility, lowers physical strain. It's got an AI smart engine in there that senses your movements and helps you along. A lot of fun, and you left us a lot of great comments about this and questions. People wanted to know, what would this help me do? Hiking, cycling, just working around the shop, getting outside in general. So when I saw that Hypershell had a new version of this come out, this is the X Ultra S, I said, we've got to test it out. We've got to show it to you all. We've got to put it to the test on our trails. There it is. This thing claims to be 64% more responsive. So the AI-enabled smart engine inside here that senses your movements and helps you along, 64% more responsive. And it says it'll reduce physical strain 39%, and that is up 9% from the previous version. So let's get out there on the trails. I'm gonna throw a heavy backpack on. We're gonna do some testing, might even jump on a bike. Stick around. Okay, so I already did a tutorial on how to put this on in our other video, but I will show you real quick because it's that easy. You just simply put it around your waist like a belt, and of course you have to adjust this to fit you, but I've already done that. You want it to fit very snugly because this thing is going to be moving your body around. You just kind of pull these in here, and then you just take these leg straps here and you want them right on the front of your thighs. So I've already adjusted these to go around the edge like this. There we go, and you can always tighten these down a little more once they're on your legs. Really tight. Strap it around. Good grief, I'm losing circulation. To avoid the pinch. All right. And pull. There we go. Nice and tight. So this is how it fits. My power button is right here, and the app will automatically detect that it's on, but I do have LEDs here that will tell me what mode I'm in. So I loaded up one of my 60-liter backpacks and filled it up with tents and all sorts of things to kind of simulate a real-world experience. So I'm gonna strap this on my back, and we're gonna go for a hike of, I don't know, probably several miles to see how the Hypershell helps in this endeavor. I'm just going to adjust my bag here, get myself all strapped in, and then we'll be ready to go. Let's hit it. Okay, some initial thoughts after coming down the hill with this pack. First off, you gotta make sure that whatever you're wearing on your back doesn't interfere with the belt on the Hypershell. I tied this up and cinched it up really high so I don't feel like it is, but you do not want these kind of hip sockets to sag on you. That would really affect it. Number two, I would say that I've already noticed just in going downhill that it's so much smoother than the previous version. And what I mean by that is it seems to know that I'm going downhill and not like pull my legs up on it. But I've got a huge uphill over here that I want to try it out on. So let's head up this huge hill and see how it does. It's an old trail that hasn't seen much action, but look at this hill. Might even be hard to appreciate on this video, but it is straight uphill, and I'm gonna climb that sucker with this pack on my back and see how we do. But before I do, I just want to verify what mode I'm in for you. So we've been walking in eco mode. I've had it at about 50%, it says 55% here. And you can control this by just using the button on the side of the device, which is easier when you're walking. But you can also control it in the app by sliding this and just kind of pulling it up and down. There is also a hyper mode, which is for strenuous activities. It is much more forceful on your legs. So I'm going to try hyper mode on this hill, and then you'll see a fitness mode. That's experimental kind of beta testing, I think, right now, but we're just going to focus on eco and hyper. But let's try hyper, and I'm going to go at about 70% because this is a pretty big hill. So let's see how it helps me get up it with this pack, if it helps me at all. Oh, I'm already feeling it. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's really helpful. Now I'm coming down. I'm gonna see if it helps with the control on the way down. Please don't let me fall. I feel less as I'm going down, but still something. I think that was really helpful. All right, now I want to go up it again and take some footage of the Hypershell on my legs to see if somehow you can see it helping. We'll see. Yeah, there's a lift, just a strong lift I'm getting, but it's not like forcing itself on my legs. It feels like it's working with my legs. And it honestly makes this not feel like too bad. I mean, I feel the incline, but I don't feel the strain as much. It's kind of crazy. Even still, got to stop and catch my breath. Let me show you what this looks like looking down, because we came straight up. So down there is where we came from. Check this out. Let me zoom in. Can you see the tripod? There it is right there. It's ridiculous. And we are all the way up here. This is an extreme hill, and we just went up it twice with a huge pack. And then of course on the way down, like I said, it feels like we're getting more of an adjusted help on the way down. Don't know that it's saving me any strain, but that's the kind of thing you really only feel at the end of the day. You certainly feel it more on the way up, but yeah, feels controlled on the way down. Okay, so I guess the only way to really tell how much it helped on this hill is to turn it off and climb it a couple more times. I think I can do it. Okay, we just press our button. Again, blue means we're off. If we press it and we go to red, that's hyper mode. Double press, I think. Or hold it, yeah, hold it goes to green, that's eco. And then press it again to blue, that is off. No feel. So let's climb the hill with it off. And I'm gonna try to be as honest. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have climbed a total of 5 feet, and I can already tell you what this thing was doing. That's insane. What it was doing was so significant I didn't even know. Oh my gosh. Just going a couple feet up, my legs feel like cinder blocks. Oh, that is so much different. That is completely honest. That there is no fake in this. That is crazy, the amount of help I was getting. And it is so much harder to climb this hill now. Wow. I mean, I can still do it, but my legs can tell the difference. That is significant. I can't overstate how significant that felt. After having it on hyper, turning it off completely, it felt like this pack weighed 10 more pounds, 15 more pounds. Yeah, even the way down, it's like my legs don't feel as strong. I feel less stable. It was much harder to notice if it was doing anything on the way down, but now that I don't have it on, it's like, what am I doing? You know, I would liken it to the difference between riding an e-bike with the motor on and then riding an e-bike with the motor off. Can I still do it? Yeah, but I mean, if this takes your physical exertion down by almost 40%, wow, I really felt the 40% on that hill. All right, enough of that. I'm turning this thing back on, holding it. We're gonna go back to eco mode. 3 out of 4 on eco mode. Oh, I love it. And yeah, on flat ground, it just feels like that pep in your step that you really want when you're fresh, you know, like after you take a break and you start hiking again. That's what it feels like. And compared to the previous version, which I did take it out this morning and do some testing with it so I could be kind of unbiased and fair in my comparison, it does feel more responsive. Like if you asked me, without telling me that, what's the difference in these two, I would say this one is not jerking my legs up as much as the previous version that we tested. It feels more fluid. It feels more in tune with my legs. So it's helping, but it's not being as harsh. You know, it's kind of like, it's not jerking me around. It's kind of like gently pushing me along, which I really like so far. I think my favorite is the hills, but it definitely still helps on the flat ground. I forgot that we've had a decent amount of rain and I would not be able to cross this without waterproof shoes. So we're probably going to turn around here. All right, now before we start heading back in to do some different types of testing with this, I want to quickly show you some things on the app itself. So when you're in the app, you do have controls over your modes, your hyper, your eco, and even your fitness, which it's going to tell you is kind of an experimental mode. The top here, you're going to see your battery remaining, and this is an estimate on the distance you have remaining, and I believe that's based on current output. So just a few minutes ago when I was walking, it said 4.5 miles. Now it says 6.9. It'll even give you your miles per hour being traveled, which, you know, not that interesting when you're walking, but maybe when you're on a bike. It'll just tell you your modes, some just different things about the Hypershell itself. Then if you click stats down here, it'll give you your stats. It'll tell you how many steps you've taken. So we've, in this session, done 1,714 steps. I thought distance would be miles, but it's feet. So 3,374 feet. And that says that we have climbed 13 flights of stairs with an elevation gain of 127 feet there. Then you have the estimated range left, 6.93, and the battery, 89%. And in my experience, the app is more of a thing I check in on after I'm done with a hike or after I'm done using it. I'm using the controls on the Hypershell itself to control it while I'm out on the trail. They're pretty easy. It's a series of holding the button to switch between modes, double clicks to go up in power, triple clicks to go down in power. That's a little finicky to do triple clicks, but single clicks will simply turn it off and go to no mode. You're going to hold it to switch between eco and hyper. So it's pretty easy to figure out, but just a one button operation on the Hypershell itself. And just so you can see this thing in motion, I'm going to back up a little bit from the camera and kind of walk around so the camera can follow me. You can see this is still on my hip sockets here, functioning the way it should. And as I turn, it's the same on both sides, still firmly seated right here on my hip sockets. This is maybe sagged a little from the backpack, but it's not too bad. You just want to keep that belt up and in place because that's what ensures you're getting the best performance out of the exoskeleton as it's working. All right, now time to test this gradual hill climb. And before I do that, I'm gonna switch my mode. I'm gonna go eco mode all the way up. There we go, all the way up on the body pack just to see how this helps. Because this is more of a gradual climb. It is overall the same height as the other hill because it's getting up to the same point, but we kind of snake around and curl up to the top. So let's see how this helps on the climb. Yeah, I gotta say, it's pretty comfortable. And just to make sure that we're not imagining this, I'm gonna stop and I'm going to turn it off. There it is, it's off. Oh my gosh. It's so funny. It's like, it seems comical that when you turn this off, you feel like, how do I use my legs again? I mean, it's like getting off an escalator. You're just wondering how to walk. It feels like my legs weigh 1,000 pounds. And that's not hyperbole. Been walking around with this thing all day. And now I turn it off to climb a gradual hill and it feels funny. Let's just go turn it back on. There we go. Now that's hyper. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that thing is crazy. Hyper is extreme. Not even on a gradual hill like this do I feel like it's necessary. See what it's kind of making me do, high step? Yeah, it's a little crazy. But if we go back to eco, there we go. Now we're back in eco. Oh yeah, that's the right amount of power for a hill like this. So I think you just need to learn to dial it in for the application, and you'll get the most comfort and performance out of it. Whew, out of the woods we come. We did, I think, just a shade over a mile. Let me check here. We've got total distance, yeah, 5,023 feet. So not quite a mile. I don't know if that's like just over 3/4 or something. I believe 5,200 is a mile, right? 5,280, if you remember that. So we did about 5,000 steps, but I'm really impressed if you dial this thing in with what it can do. But what I really want to try, which we didn't try in the last video, is how it feels to cycle with this thing on. So let's ditch the backpack, get a bike, and put that to the test. Oh, hey there. Didn't see ya. I'm from the future. I'm riding my e-bike with my exoskeleton. So here's my idea. We're gonna take this worst case scenario, a super heavy e-bike that has a dead battery, weighs about 90 pounds, and is harder to move than any other bike you're probably going to own. And we're gonna ride it with the Hypershell in tow to see how much help it actually offers us. Because I could see this being a really cool idea for those of you that don't wanna buy an e-bike and an exoskeleton. You can use it in multiple different scenarios, turns any bike into a more powered bike by empowering your legs to do more, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and get it out there. I will give you my honest opinion on how this helps, if it in fact does help, but I really do think that the motion of pushing the leg down like this is something that the Hypershell is going to learn and mimic pretty easily. Just like climbing the hills, as it's lifting your leg, it knows you need help lifting. I think in the cycling category, it's gonna know we need help pushing our leg down. So let's give it a try and see if it works.
All right, so I wanted to start out on the easy section here, just flat ground, gravel on eco mode, probably about 75 or 80% if I remember correctly. This was really helpful. I think it was just like hiking or very similar to hiking where you got that extra boost, but didn't feel overpowering or crazy. This is not really what I came to test it on though, so we're gonna switch here in just a second to more challenging terrain. I'm gonna head down to the trails that we hiked on earlier, tall grass, rough ground there, and just in general harder terrain for this bike. So I did turn it up to hyper mode all the way up before I came down here because this was going to be challenging. And to be honest, it was harder to feel the effect in such a challenging environment. You'll see I am still on the seat. I did try this without the Hypershell later and found that it was significantly harder, but it was difficult to really pinpoint how much the Hypershell was helping in this super difficult terrain. So I don't think this is going to enable you to turn into Superman or make you feel like you're riding an e-bike, because when this e-bike is on and I am in like second gear, I am flying through these fields at like 14, 15 miles per hour, 20 if I wanted to, or the suspension supported it. But here you see I'm easily able to pedal through them. It's not effortless. There is some effort involved in this, and I am in the lowest gear. Keep in mind, this is almost a 90-pound e-bike, and the gear system is not the same as a regular bike, so it's going to be more difficult to pedal. But when things are relatively moderate, I think the Hypershell shines just the way it does with hiking. It's a noticeable difference. It does bring you that lift. It's not so much on the push, but it is on the pull up as your legs are coming up. So overall, an enjoyable experience.
Whew, had to take that thing off. I've been wearing it straight for about 4 hours now doing all this testing. I think we've racked up somewhere close to 5 or 6 miles hiking with a pack and biking. So let's go inside and talk about my final thoughts. All right, let's talk final thoughts on the Hypershell X Ultra S. Now, this thing truly is a remarkable piece of technology. I said that the first time we tested the previous version, but I can tell you after wearing this for a good 4.5 hours, putting in over 5 miles of hiking with a pack and a bike on it, I can tell you that it is much lighter than the previous version. I didn't see that talked about anywhere, but it looks like carbon fiber. It is much more comfortable. These pads in the center are not just a little bit thicker, but I think they also have like a grippy material on them so you don't feel any sliding. I don't remember feeling that with the previous version, but this one for sure stayed in place. But if you wear it for a continuous amount of time, you are going to develop a what I'm going to call like a reliance on it. I noticed that things that shouldn't have been that hard felt really hard when I turned it off. I think that might be the biggest problem, is that you notice the difference so significantly when you take it off. You are going to be able to tell. Now, whether or not we can quantify, did this reduce physical strain by 39%? I won't be able to quantify that, but I will be able to tell you that in the hiking segments, up hills, even flat ground, this was significant in its impact. Is it close to half as easy? I would say yes. In the cycling world, it was much, much harder for me to feel the difference on it, even in hyper, even all the way up, which is how I pretty much did most of the riding. Now, granted, I did some of the hardest riding you could do on a bike with a very heavy e-bike, turned off through tall grass and hills and mud and things like that. So I think this would make a much bigger difference if you were road riding, maybe on a bike path or something like that. You would definitely feel the difference in a much more significant way, but much, much bigger difference in the hiking area for me. As far as design and stuff goes, you know, it is pretty comfortable to wear, but you will start to feel it and notice that it's there after 2 to 3 hours. That's you're just going to be a part of wearing something that straps around your legs. But I will say the straps on this new version are improved. I do like the way that they feel more breathable. They just feel lighter weight, and it's really easy to adjust. I didn't have any problems with that. And I really do believe that this is worth the upgrade. I know there's a significant difference in price. Everybody's going to tell me, wow, that's super expensive, but this is a huge leap forward in technology that we have really yet to see before. AI-enabled exoskeletons that can read your movements and react, that you can control and set and fine-tune to your movements through a smartphone app. Yeah, it should be expensive. This one's nearly $2,000. But if it gives somebody who has a hard time even walking the ability to take a 1 or 2 mile walk, probably worth it. Now, if you're somebody who likes to push the limits and wants to see how far they can go on their own and have this as something that enables them to go even further than that, it would also be great. You know, I love the fact that it has 2 replaceable batteries. It has 2 batteries. You can replace them. This feels like it's gotten a little bit better. The in and the out was a little tight on the last version. I noted that. Seems a lot easier on this one. My one complaint about these batteries is that you cannot charge them unless they're plugged into the exoskeleton. I believe there should be a USB-C port somewhere on this battery itself so we can simply plug the other one in, have it charging while we're using this. But if you're going out on an adventure, these don't weigh a lot. You can throw the second one in a backpack. I do like that. And they've also upgraded the travel case that comes with it. I really was a fan of the first version. This kind of like molded foam here. I liked it a lot, but this is much smaller, much more compact. And for the way I've used it, much easier to use. It just kind of slips in there. This is molded so you have to get it in exactly right, whereas this case is softer and it just seems to fit in. Now I forgot, I do have to push this in. Remember my settings. I'm a size 4 on here, but once I'm pushed all the way in, I think much easier to seat. It has a strap across the top that keeps these arms in place. And when you close it, it's just a little easier to finagle everything in with the zipper and go. So you'll see the size of these cases is quite improved, much smaller and compact in the new version. And so I guess the question is, would an exoskeleton change your life? Are you one of these people that would see the greatest benefit from a $2,000 investment? Maybe you are, and if you are, I think the Hypershell is worth a look, especially this new one. It's the Hypershell X Ultra S. I will leave a link in the description down below if you are interested. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video. I love testing out camping, RVing, and outdoor equipment for you so that you can get out there, be more capable, and do more on your own. As always, my name is Joel. This is the Traveler Toolkit, and I will see you in the next video.